And we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is the third episode of the Event Success Insights podcast, live with me, Krisa Skodra, the world's first event success manager. In this episode, we will be discussing with a great guest that came all the way from Estonia. And in general, in the Event Success podcast, we discuss the latest trends with influential thought leaders, professionals, academics in the event industry. This podcast is brought to you and powered by Lyyti, the leading event success platform that enables you to create meaningful encounters and measure them with the unique experience value score, a North Star metric to measure the success of your events. Check out more at lyyti.com. This live podcast is multi-streamed across Lyti's LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube Event Success platform channel. So we welcome all your comments. So please keep them coming from wherever you're tuned in. As I said, today I have the pleasure to welcome Mr. Jonas Olsson.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Thank you, Krista, for the nice invite to this to feature on your podcast.
Thank you, Jonas, for traveling from Estonia, right? You arrived earlier today?
Yeah, I live in Tallinn since long back, 1999. So I do come to Finland a lot.
But you're not from Estonia originally, right?
No, right. I'm born and raised in Sweden.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your background from being born in Sweden, and how did you find up yourself and come up to Estonia, and how did you find yourself in the event industry?
Yes.
Take us through that journey.
Thank you, Chris. So a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Sweden. I'm a father of three, so I have two sons, adult sons, almost 19, 17, and a daughter.
All right. Are they tuned in?
Sorry?
Are they tuned in already, your children?
One is doing the defense service in Rovaniemi, so I think he's there, and the other one is in school in Otaniemi.
All right.
So they're very close. They are in Finland both. So, and I wanted to, my connection to Finland is that I have married a superwoman. Her name is Nora, and she's my partner in the business and in life.
And this is where the NJ Production, the company that Jonas is a CEO of, is NJ Production. And I think NJ stands for Nora and Jonas, right?
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, absolutely correct. So, and as I said, we live in Tallinn. And during the COVID times, we got the Bernese mountain dog, and we also have two ponies. So after raising the sons, I think I'm back raising other babies at home. So, yeah.
But what babies you are creating with NJ Production? Tell us a little bit about the company and what kind of services you offer, what kind of babies you're raising through NJ Production with all your team and, of course, your partner, Nora.
Yes, no. Definitely, like the first baby was the company that we founded in 2001. So it came before we got our first son. So we started up as a creative agency production. I listened to Jatko's episode as well from Volti, and I think we had a similar. We were looking very much up to them as well. What they did, we were doing collaboration with Seikkailu, which was a very strong event company in Finland. So we produced events in Baltics. And another turning point, I would say, in the business, then after some time, we started to move out to the fairs internationally to bring in clients. So we have all the time been very focused on international clients, international groups. And if I go further there along the road, I would say in 2015 was another turning point in the business when we decided that we are going to focus on global flagship events, because this is really what we do the best. It's strategic events, it's stakeholders, multi-stakeholders, it's very important events, and our team is so driven and eager to deliver and actually do more than we promise in every production. So we are like a big agency focusing on the absolutely most challenging cases, and we have a global outlook. We source globally, and we also have teams that we attract globally. So working out of Tallinn, Estonia, a little tech company actually has most unicorns per capita today, and we saw that early. So with technology, we can reach out globally.
And you already mentioned about checking out on the previous episode. So in the first episode, we featured your colleague Mikael Kastren from Tapaus event agency here in Finland, and who are recently going Nordic as well and expanding. Then on the second episode, we had Jarkko Kivikoski. And as the concept of the Event Success Insights podcast has it, each guest is answering to the previous guest's question and gives a question for the coming up guest. So I would like to throw the question that Jarkko gave to you. First of all, he spoke very highly of you and all the good work you do at NJ Production. So he asked you, how have you experienced the time of the pandemic, and has it been changing the way you plan and produce events now and in the near future? So what influence and impact COVID has had? So you touched upon that. So elaborate on that. And then when it comes to the actual planning and producing events for your clients, what kind of lessons you learned through the past couple of years?
Yes, thank you, Jarkko, for that very excellent question to open up this topic. As I said, we at NJ, we are also very much looking up to you guys, what you do in Volti. I met you many times, and I think you're doing really great stuff. So to your question, I would want to just walk you through what happened to us. So my last yes, because man, this was transforming. This was nothing like we had experienced ever before. So if you wanted to be challenged, like this is the ultimate challenge, and I know you have had the same experience. So I wanted to just start with my last trip before COVID. I was
Where was it?
I was in Denmark. I was going to Sweden because I'm from south of Sweden, and I was attending my grandmother's 100 years birthday.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
This was the last party in the 25th of February. During this time, I had to take some difficult meetings because what developed as epidemic kind of quickly grew, and we were mobilizing for the biggest event of the year. It was like it's the biggest industry conference in drives industry. We were expecting 500 guests from all over the world, and it was about to take place in London in the end of March. So basically, we had to make very difficult choices along the way. First, we started to cancel the participants from Asia, and thought that okay, we can still do it. We can bring in the Europeans, the North Americans, but it kind of developed very quickly. So we also had some commitments in Finland for event production, and me and my family, we took the decision to actually move to Finland temporarily, just to secure that we could deliver on the assignments that we had. Still, I want to say this time it was for us. We put all time into thinking how can we overcome this, because my background, I'm an engineer. I believe in science, and I saw this is not going anywhere soon. So we just need to learn to adapt and get out of this mess. So of course, my time was going quite a lot into negotiation to act as a middleman between my clients and between the commitments. We had the big commitments in London. So when I see now, I can see what I tried to do at that time was that finding a balanced decision between partners, because I understand both the client and I understand also all the suppliers. It's an ecosystem. So you have to be reasonable and try to find good solutions. So what we aimed for was to all the time not cancel but postpone the events. And I'm happy we had so bold clients that actually wanted to stay on with us and face this new challenge and actually not cancel it but postpone. We during this time, during 2020, we did cancel 2 events. One was about to happen in 19th of March in Finland. It was a smaller event, so it was easy because it was only related to personnel coming from Finland. Another event was moved into fully virtual, and it happened, but we didn't produce that one. Okay, so now I got some more voice. You can hear me better.
I hope so. We have somebody in the chat. Timo, thanks for your comments that there seems to be some issue with the sound. But others tell me that the sound is okay. Let me know in the comments. Do you have issues hearing us? Is our voices loud and clear, or is it something that we need to look into? Let me know, please, in the
Yes.
comments.
So this particular event that was going to happen in London, we did postpone it 2 times in the same year. It didn't happen as a physical event. So we were moving fastly into transforming this event to a fully virtual event. So there started our journey on finding out how we will solve this.
If you could summarize, so I think if we move now to very put them in a very short and sweet form for all the listeners out there, what kind of lessons learned could create and make an event future proof with what we learned in the past 2 years? So what would be 5 concrete points for everybody, whether they're hiring NJ production or tapaus or organizing their own events? So let's say somebody's organizing their own event, right? They don't have a big budget and they have a small unit in-house who want to do it. What would be the lessons that you would like to share that keep in mind this and this and this and this?
Well, I think at the top, you would have to consider that change and uncertainty is here. So you need to find a way to adapt quickly. For us, it means that we need to have very short lead times to make. We had a physical event in Germany, all company, 250 people joining. We started working on that event in the end of September, and the event was happening in the end of November 2021. So it means that you need to be ready to move fast and be ready for plan B, because always you never know if you need to adjust something. If you have planned a physical event, you have the plan B that you also can turn it fully virtual if you would need, or you can turn it hybrid by keeping certain coming in and the rest ones you will allow in online or virtually.
So definitely change is here, and the only constant is change in our lives. So if, as you said in the beginning, and I got from your website, NJ Productions website, some quotes, is that you believe in the power of live events. What makes live events powerful? And we had a discussion before we go live on how do you understand live events, and what is your definition for live events? So what is live events in your mind, and how live events can be powerful and have an impact?
Yes, so during this time I have been thinking, what is live events? So of course I know that many people put live is equal in person or physical meeting. Me being more a tech person, thinking that there has always been, you go live here, for example, you live stream in LinkedIn, you go live in Facebook and other places. So for me, live is that when something happens, there is a live moment, and it's maybe a unique, and it's a shared moment that is happening. So this is not a video pre-recording or anything. This is live. So to my mind, live can be both in person and online happening. But of course, we use also the in person and online to be very clear when we're talking about if you're signing up for an event, you should sign up for the in person or for the online access. The second question that you talk about, what is a powerful experience? And we were challenged to make this powerful experience in a fully virtual setting during the COVID times. And based on the feedback that we got, we succeeded with that. So, what is this powerful experience that we can create? So we go very much into figuring out how we can help the customers to create a shared memory. It's a unique memory. You cannot get it or experience it anywhere else. So it's unique. It's made for you. You share it together, and which means that you have this moment in the time, a memory that you can reflect and go back to, and it will last forever. So this really builds community and a feeling of belonging. So I think this is what we are doing when we create these powerful experiences for clients.
What are the differences, Jonas, regarding the live in person or the live virtual or hybrid events? What is the difference when there is the five senses of the individual's experience, whereas there is a mediated experience through a laptop screen or other ways? So do you see that there are differences there in the impact and making such experiences being memorable when they're experienced with the full senses, all the senses, or just a few of the senses?
Yes, you're right. I think that, of course, the most exclusive version of participating is to be in person. And I think also many events are going in this direction that you kind of make an exclusivity. You maybe have to qualify to come to the in-person event because it is giving you a lot more. You can use all your senses. In the virtual, I think it's up to like if you think about the audience perspective, like build empathy to the audience and think, what do they want? So I think it's very, very good to think, how is your audience? What can you do to deliver on their expectations and go out from the audience perspective? What do you want them to get? And the ones who choose to stay virtual for various reasons, I think they should have the right to be that. But also, our customer who puts up the event, it might be that they don't want to have a virtual part of the event and they make it only in person, and they have also the right to make this decision. So this is my take on it. So it is more challenging to do virtual powerful experience, but it's possible.
And how do you measure those powerful experiences? How can we measure in the participant's mind and soul, have we succeeded or not to deliver that promise and that memorable experience?
Well, of course, I'm invited here and we are using Lyti as a tool to collect data. Lyti is one tool. We track if it's in a fully online mode, we can track the engagement. We actually built our own platform during the COVID times, and we chose to integrate Lyti for the pre and post event communication. But also during the event, when it takes place, we have integrated engagement tool where you can chat, comment, but we could also fully design it, and we also integrated call to action. So after you have done a product launch, for example, you have a call to action where you can actually get an idea in real time who is actually interested to go further in this product. So this is something that you can do online. It's harder to do in person. There you need people to
resources, human resources.
Yeah. Yes, and we also do. We also have reference groups when we have the in-person events where we take a smaller group of people to interview them and listen, and we have a set of questions that we go through to get a more qualitative data from the event.
Have you said that you integrated Ludi for the pre and post event communication. How about the experience value score, the EVS? You as an agency with your clients, are you able to use that as a metric as well? Have you had cases where the EVS was used?
Yes, thank you, Krisa, for you. You actually engaged with me in a session, private session about this engagement tool, and I think it's great. And I did challenge you a little bit because I see, yes, I think it's very good. We have used like a similar way capturing it in the after event survey, and I'm sure that soon it will come that you can actually just add it in the end of the survey, so it doesn't come as a separate communication. Because I'm a little bit concerned about sending too many messages to the audience. So if you get them to fill one feedback and then maybe not the other, but I get also the point that this isn't very easy
Yes.
and one click
Mm.
feedback that you can do. So in this sense, it's great.
For those listening and perhaps they're not so familiar with what the experience value score is, so this is a unique metric, a North Star metric that Ludi has developed over the past year and a half, and it's been used to capture the audiences of the event participants by answering to a very simple question. Was the event I just attended worth my time? Was my time well spent, or was it wasted? And there's a set of 5 emojis. They can click on the emoji behind those. There's a psychology and a mathematical formula, and then below they can give their open feedback. I think also being mindful of people's time. Surveys are great, and of course, you want to capture more detailed information, but somehow perhaps, and I think you are an engineer, and I spoke with other engineers, and Jarko was here before, and he said, and I agree, when you try to measure too many things, perhaps you learn nothing, or perhaps don't really take the time to fill in a lengthy form. Whereas the experience value score is sent automatically, immediately at the end of the event, and captures perhaps just enough that the gut feeling of your event attendees. So yes, we hear you, and I think this is very valid points that any software company like Ludi is, at the end of the day, we need to take into consideration regarding product development. So, and at the same time, when we measure a lot of things, perhaps we lose exactly this North Star guiding us through a changing environment. So the world is changing, but not the North Star is constant. So lots of food for thought. We could, of course, argue back and forth. So, you said to me before we had a little chat that you read a lot about what's happening in the event industry, and obviously we get a lot of information. So, what are, based on your insights and readings and your curious mind, what are some general trends where you see the future of the event industry going, and is it something in particular that you believe that it's perhaps now under the radar but it's going to be a big thing? So what do you think?
Well, what I see, of course, the very important aspect for making events these days is the health and safety of the participants. So this is something that you need to have in place. You need to work on this, and because I would say this is the one major thing that holds customers back from making events, that when it goes back to in person, that is it health and safety, is it taken into account, how we can live with it. So I see as well that data, as you have talked in the previous episodes, that data we have got possibility to track the event journey, pre, post, and actually as event agencies we have become part of the digital marketing as well. So data-driven insights are very important for the customers, and I think this is also something that you need to have in place. Of course, as I said, you should think and listen to the audience, be inclusive, try to accommodate the needs, the various needs of the audience. If they would want to, if they prefer to stay remote, and you have the possibility to broadcast, then I think that's a great thing. But there, I would think that you would need to actually have a separate production for the online event. So this is how we have been approaching it. We have a physical event team, and we have an virtual or online event team, because you need to think about the flow and what parts the online can take part of. For example, during long networking breaks and so on, you cannot just fill it up with something. So you have to really think how you make it. And we also see that events, the large events, are maybe breaking out into smaller events and also series of events. So it might be you create a series of events that are connected, like you have these podcast episodes here, which is great. And so you break it down into smaller pieces. One thing that is good with that as well is that the attention span and the fight for attention, or the fight for participation for the participants, has become more fierce, because you have so many things and options in today's world, and many habits has changed during the COVID times. So people have got used to new ways of living. So we need to as well respond to that.
So are you saying that of course now this is the a new way of living? Some things have become more familiar. People are perhaps now in a comfort zone, attending virtual events. That we have successfully done it the past 2 years, and but don't you feel also that there is a hunger for live events, at least for some part of the people in the event industry? Because there's a lot of restrictions, perhaps, despite the advances of technology with the virtual events. Do you see that what could be the flaws of or the disadvantages of a virtual event, or the limitations rather, that could not really be in an equal level to a live encounter?
Well, of course, the live in-person experience is much better. Yes, people are longing to get back, and some have been lucky to get that possibility already. And we see how much more rewarding it is. It was very lonely for many people to be also isolated and online for a very long time. And I think that my take on it is that I definitely go to a physical in-person event if it makes sense to me.
And if it's worth your time.
If it's worth my time.
And as you said, and I think we absolutely agree, everybody, that now people are going to be even more selective. So the competition is fierce. Anybody can open their screen and their mic and make a virtual event, even with their Google Meet capabilities, right? And then there is obviously the hunger on the other hand to go live, and so we have to balance, as you said, and learn from the audience. So it's good to have options, and I like what you said, that you have separate teams, that you treat a virtual event as an entity of its own, that it's not just on the side, and the ones who attend virtually are the unlucky ones to have a little bit less good experience. So it's good for those people, for the various reasons, right? They choose that way of participation. And for the others, then we offer different ways. So that's great. So you mentioned about inclusivity. That's great. And I know that very close to your heart is sustainability. So would you like to touch upon everyone. Now it's 12:30. This is the Event Success Podcast, live here from Helsinki with Jonas Olsson, and we're discussing about event industry insights and topics. So sustainability, Jonas, before we go, what do you think in those terms that I know this topic is close to your heart?
Yes, no, absolutely. Sustainability is very much in the top of the agenda at our gatherings as well.
How do you approach it? And if you could give us concrete tips for everybody listening or ideas how to make events sustainable in today's world.
Yes, no, of course. Sustainability, I think the biggest impact that we can do as an agency is to support the clients that have very sustainable business models. And we have been fortunate to have these clients who actually do a very positive impact on our planet and for the future of our planet. So I think this is a discussion that you need to have with your customer about the possibilities. And I mean, you should meet up in person if it makes sense, because the impact that these people that gather can spread to the whole organization is so important. And what I see is that clients are not looking only in the business perspective; they're looking in the planet perspective. So it's not only the people, the planet, and the prosperity. So you're moving also into the partnerships, and in partnerships is multi-stakeholder partnerships, where you can see that even like competitors are joining together just to make sure that together we find better solutions for tomorrow. So this is something that I see is happening in the top level global flagship events, strategic events.
Could you give some concrete examples? Of course, it based on the, as you mentioned, the clients' strategies and visions and missions and what is close to their heart and how they want their brand to be represented. Would you have any case in mind of any events that you organized that your client had specific wishes regarding partnerships or regarding sustainability in general, inclusivity? So that how did you tackle from your agency perspective the matter, and perhaps if you could share some insights from an actual case.
Yeah, I think the actual if I think about I can take one particular case where the client we did something that was actually quite challenging. We did several events for different target groups at the same time. And what was the benefit of this was that people who are contributors and the stakeholders in the event, they were needed for all parts of the different events. They were targeting different groups. So let's say an internal event for the personnel, where you kick off with your personnel. Then you have a customer event, you have an awards event, and then followed by also press and media. So I think this is a good thinking, how to avoid people to travel many times to different events. It's also very economical, feasible, and I think you make the most out of the event experience. And I also see that we are working more with electric transportation, if it's possible. This is something that is not easy to solve always, but yes, if it's possible to provide electric buses, we're doing it. So thinking everything, we don't give, for example, plastic cups, you have drinking bottles, you have all the materials that you avoid plastics everywhere. We use a lot of digital tools. We use for example, custom built apps for sharing information. So you don't need to print anything. And and we keep all things around the event at the minimum. And if the event has a high level agenda which includes sustainability, I think this gives a very good impact for the future of our world.
Oh, great, absolutely. Jonas Olsson is here with me from the CEO of NJ Production, an event agency based in Estonia, but with clientele that is all over the world. So check out njproduction.com, right?
That's correct.
They have a great website you do actually have your blog, it's called Insights. So you have articles under the Insights tab as well. So check that out. Jonas, is there anything else on top of your mind that you would absolutely like to share with our listeners, everybody interested in the event industry or taking part in it one way or another, everybody organizing events, watching this live now or watching the video replay later on? What is something that you would like to mention that we didn't touch upon yet?
Well, I listened to a good keynote from a keynote speaker, Stefan Hyttfors. He opened up and ended his keynote with a recommendation.
What was it?
The recommendation is to learn to enjoy change. And I think when you learn to enjoy change, you will feel much better, and you will do much better. So this is something that I think is guiding me as well. I'm used to changes, but this has been extreme times. But yes, enjoy it.
I absolutely can relate to that. Change is a sensitive topic because I must say, I come from Greece, right? And Greek people have very high uncertainty avoidance, which means that they're not very happy with change. They like how things have always been from the Parthenon times. And it's very hard for some cultures. It's a culture thing. And then, of course, it's personal as well. So some people might be, of course, very petrified by change, right? They get immobilized, where others might see it as an opportunity, as a way to evolve. I came to believe now, and to despite my Greek high uncertainty avoidance background, that I think over the past years and as I grow as a person, I think we are moving to a more transformative society and business as well. So I think here lies now the concept of how companies, how communities, how nations, how individuals can really take change as a constant, as a given fact, and then make the best out of it and see it as an opportunity to evolve. So I'm glad that you mentioned Stefan's and your approach. So we are likely minded. So regarding change and transformation, what would be your personal or your business attitude as well, and sort of if you can encourage people sort of not to be afraid of change, or what would be your way that you would like for everybody to accept change, even though it might be sort of out of their comfort zone? What could be something to make them more able to accept it and to see sort of the silver lining in it?
Yeah. No, I think you have to have the courage.
The courage. Finnish
Yes.
call it sisu.
Yes, you need to have courage. And this is something we have been working with our clients as well a lot. Courage within organizations. So you need to experiment. You need to be allowed to experiment. And
so courage and
yes.
courage to experiment. Let's
Yes.
keep that. And how do you help your clients to be open to experimentation and find that courage?
Yes, we do challenge our clients, which most of the time they appreciate, and they challenge us back, which we appreciate, because without challenge, you actually don't develop. And this is the best way to develop, is to challenge yourself and the ones you're working with in a positive way.
Great. So, challenge and experimentation. I keep that. That's a great way to close this live podcast. And that leads us very well, actually, because I would like you to challenge my next guest here on the Event Success Insights podcast. I will have next week Ina Pirjetalahti, the head of inspiration and CEO of Pink Helsinki. So, what would it be your challenging question, Jonas, for Ina Pirjeta?
Yes, hi, Ina Pirjeta. Uh, we met in the last live event awards, I believe, in Finland. So we were both finalists there.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I first, I think, got to know who you are and what you're doing. I know you're into influencer marketing, relations marketing, and this is something that I'm not working with very much, I would say. But my question to you would be thinking what has just happened, the COVID times. First of all, how did it affect the influencer marketing? Because I got a sense that it became more affordable to use influencers in an online setting. So that leads to my second question that how could we be better at utilizing influencer marketing in business to business events? Because I think this is not very present there, but I think it's possible.
Right. So, Ina Pirjeta, you heard Jonas's question. Next time, you'll be sitting where Jonas is sitting now, and you'll be taking that question and opening it up. I would like to, at this point, thank all the listeners who've been tuning in and listening to the Event Success Insights podcast. This live video recording will be shared later on as well. And our next appointment is next Wednesday at 12 with Ina Pirjeta. Before I thank Jonas, so thank you very much for attending here, for your unique insights. I would like to give you presents I have already there next to you. I cannot reach them now, and my colleague Jonas is not here today. So here we have a cup. So please.
Oh, thank you, Chris. I helped myself.
Yes.
So I will open this.
Yes, open this.
Like that.
And so I given to my guest this Luti Event Success Insights mug. So you have Event Success Insights community, and everybody out there, please find us on LinkedIn and Facebook Event Success community and join the community. I'll put all the videos as well and other great content. Then you have there to your left this notebook with Luti and a pen. Yeah. And then next to you is a blouse there on the chair. Could you
Ooh,
grab it? Oh
it's
yeah,
like a
it
hoodie.
fits. You it doesn't have a
Oh,
hood, this
oh,
one.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah, it's the same color you're wearing
very
today.
similar to what I
Similar.
have today.
So have it there.
Yes.
So we will have actually a challenge with all the podcast guests. The challenge would be who wore it best. So I have given you now, all my guests, some Luti branded hoodies and blouses, sweaters. So you have to wear it somewhere, let's say in an upcoming event, and send me a picture.
Oh, I'll take the challenge. So
All
I love
right.
challenges. So I'll get back to
Experimentation.
you on that. So,
Great.
yeah.
So find a great event and wear that hoodie. You can wear it for as long as you like, but snap a picture and send it back to me, and I'll share it with the audience, and we see who wore it best. And tell us a little bit about your event. So it's a nice way to promote your events as well. Great. Jonas, big thank you. Tack så mycket.
Tack så mycket, Krista. It was a pleasure to be here, an honor and a pleasure to take part of this.
Pleasure and an honor was all mine. And we will close this podcast here, and we're going to have lunch with Jonas and talk a little bit more. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Event Success Insight, that was it. And next time, 12 o'clock next Wednesday. Bye from us.
Bye.
Hey.